Well, I would really like to thank you, from the whole Bloggers Alliance family, for providing us your precious time today. And I was really looking forward to have this great conversation with you. So, sir, I have prepared few questions. If may go along with that only.
Sure. Thank you. I am equally excited to be part of this interview, and I am also associated with Bloggers Alliance for quite some time.
Okay.
And of course, Amit ji, who leads Bloggers Alliance. So happy to be part of this.
Great, sir. So, first of all, I would really like to congratulate you on the launch of your new book, How Leaders Decide. So, we were really looking forward to know that what are some of the interesting features which you have given in the book. So, if you can tell some of the interesting features of that book.
So look, as of now, if you see, one of the biggest problems which is there in any okay, let me put it this way. During pandemic in India itself, there were thousands of companies which closed down, and these companies closed down because they were not able to decide that they have to align with the new situation, and they don't have to sit back on that when the environment will be okay, we will again continue with our older way of doing business. If they would have decided that early on, then those many companies would not have closed down despite pandemic. And why I'm saying so, because I have a dry cleaner. So during the pandemic, this dry cleaner called me, and I picked up the phone. So he said, "Do you need vegetables?" I was like, "Vegetables? You are a dry cleaner." He said, "Sorry, sir, I am not a dry cleaner. I said, "Boss, your core competency is dry cleaning. So how come you are selling vegetables?" So he said, "Sir, my core competency is not dry cleaning. My core competency is adaptability. Yesterday you needed dry cleaning, so I was providing dry cleaning. Today you need vegetables, so I'm selling vegetables." Now, this kind of adaptability, lot of organizations have also shown. And organizations which were making say alcohol, they started making sanitizers. The companies which were making say automobile parts or automobiles, they started making the ICU machines which were required. So that way, many companies changed their production capacity, modified their production capacity in such a manner that they were useful to the people. Now, how this kind of agility comes in people? One of the theme of the book is that how do you develop your leaders, and how do you develop, say, a balance between short-term and long-term thinking and decision making, so that you can sustain for a longer period of time. And for that, all the startup owners who are there, they should definitely read the book, and they will understand how to balance between short term and long term. Another thing which I was looking at, many times decision making is like traditionally most of the books I have read on decision making, they tell you decision making is very simple. What do you do in decision making? You get two options and you select from those two options, that which is the best option. And then I have seen in movies that these two options, like if you would have seen Matrix, blue pill or red pill. So this is how choices are given to you. And the best thing which I have ever seen is that you have to choose between the worst option and the less worst option. Nobody teaches or tells you that if you are presented with two options, do you ask which is the third option, or what could be the third option? because you should not be deciding based on only one option or two options. Your ideal decision making happens when you have between 3 to 7 options. And why I'm saying 3 to 7 options, because if you move beyond 7 options, then also decision making doesn't happen. So there are certain things which researchers have researched over the years and found out that how you should configure your organization in such a manner that your decision making is faster. There are a lot of skills. This is one hack that anytime somebody comes to you, although these hacks look very simple, but these hacks are ultra important and ultra effective. So that was another reason why I wrote this book, or what is the highlight of this book is you can actually learn those tips and tricks for improving your decision making skills, that this is how I can be a better decision maker. Another pieces which I have put in the book is like generally we talk about decision making. The name of the book is also How Leaders Decide. That doesn't mean that this is the book for leaders. This is the book for people who want to be leaders. So if you want to be leader, you want to understand how leaders decide, and you yourself want to become a leader and become an effective leader, this book actually guides you that how you can make those decisions and you can become an effective leader. There is a fourth USP of this book. You would have heard that people keep saying that mid-age crisis has come. So why does mid-age crisis comes? A lot of people don't understand why mid-age crisis comes. Mid-age crisis comes because as you move up in your career, if your decision making style is not changing, then you get stuck in your career. Because when you start your career, your decision making style should be directive, because you are on the ground, you have all the information related to the ground. If you take faster decisions, directive decisions, then chances of you being successful will be much more. But as you move up in the ladder and you continue with that particular instinct of yours, that I will take decisions, because when you move up, you are not closer to the ground. You have to collect information, so your decision making style also need to change. Many a times when you go through these kind of concepts and understand, okay, what is my decision making style right now, and what do I need to change in my decision making style, so that I can move up the ladder. And this is not what I am saying, this is what the research says. This is what McKinsey says, that there is a method of moving across levels, and this is based on a study of say thousands of managers which they have put together, and have seen how people have transitioned and how decision making style makes difference to their lives. And in a similar manner, there are many things, or there are many target audience who can get benefited from the book. So that's what I would say, what all I have covered. There are many more things. In fact, one of the person who read the book, he's a 10-year-old. He picked up the book because somehow he liked my face. So he started reading the book, and then he told me, this is a very good book which each and every child should read. And I was amused that why a child should read this book. So he said there are a lot of decisions we have to take, and I think I was amazed when a child was saying that there are many decisions we have to take. And then I realized in the very first chapter I had written that I had to take a decision in my childhood, which would have affected whether I want to go in medical or whether I want to go in engineering. And I casually took that decision, and that changed the career path for me. So he picked that up and he read the whole book because of, I don't know whether he read the whole book, last time when he spoke to me, he was at say page 100. So that was around 1/3 of the book he had read, and that was the feedback he was giving me. So it is simple that a child can read and relate to the book. It is filled with the stories.
It really seemed very interesting, and for every age group, leading like from the leaders till a teenage child also, it is really interesting to see that how people are liking this book. But so, like, what inspired you to write on specifically the decision making aspect only? Like, why this decision making took step in your mind?
Look, since 2012, I have been writing. So I prepared a book and I compiled a book. I used to write stories. That is what my forte is. So there were longer stories which I had written, and I compiled them in a book in 2016, and then I went to each and every publisher. So means all the named publisher I went to, and unnamed publisher also I went to, and everyone rejected my book. That we can't publish your book, and nobody told me on my face that why they are not publishing. So I wrote a book of, I am fond of writing stories, and I wrote a bunch of stories and then collated those stories in form of a book. And then I went to each and every publisher that please publish this book. Some of them looked at it. Nobody told me why they are not publishing it, but no one published it. So for almost 4 years, I was roaming around here and there. Please publish my book. After that, one of my friends, he had written a book with Sage. So he introduced me to some people at Sage. So I gave this book to them. So they asked me, what is this book about? So I said, this book is about stories. And they said, no, we don't publish story books. You tell us, what is this book about? So I thought about it, that what is this book about? So I told them, this book is about decision making. So they said, yeah, decision making is our forte. So we would be happy to read your book. So I sent them. When I sent them, they also rejected the book. So I was like, oh my God. So are you not interested in a decision making book? They said that we are interested in a decision making book, but not written in a story style. And then we worked together. I wrote a paragraph for them, and then I wrote a couple of chapters for them. And they told me that they want these chapters written in say the way HBR is written. So I said, okay, fine. That is relatively easy for me to write, because for stories I have to think. This is like pure research. So earlier what I used to do was I used to read, go through the research, and then create a story and then embed the research in the story. Here I just have to show the research. And when I started writing, I thought I can put say actual real life stories of organizations in it. So I did that, wrote a couple of chapters, showed it to them, and then they immediately signed the contract. And then it took some time for me to write the book, and then that's how the book got published. So inspiration is it is not, I would not call it inspiration. It is my perseverance for past 10 years, which actually resulted in a book and which taught me how to write a book.
Great. And so, like, we have seen that there are many top entrepreneurs and leaders like Harsh Goenka and Raj Gopalan who have endorsed your book as well. So, what are the special features of the book that were appreciated by them, or anything special they liked in your book?
Look, each and everyone liked different things about the book. So I requested Mr. Goenka to write the foreword for the book. So he has written the foreword, and his foreword is about his own story, that how he has set up his organization and how his father and grandfather actually worked on his organization and how he has learned decision making and how important it is. And whatever he has written uh, is explained in the book. Uh, so if you read what he has written, you will be able to relate that look, this is how decision makers decide. Uh, when I talk about, say, other people who have appreciated the book, so everyone had their reason. Someone liked it because it is easy to read. I gave it to one person in Facebook to read it. He is a technical guy. So he told me that I don't read books. I said, if you can go through it, in case you feel like, then only you write. So I'm not going to press it on you. So he said, I picked up the book and I started with chapter 8. And I read one page of it, and then I read the entire chapter. And I was happy to see that a HR person like you can write something like this, which a person like me can appreciate, because my PhD was on the same topic on which you have written. So I said, okay, thank you for that. And then he read the whole book, and he said, this is extremely relevant for technical people who want to move up there in their career ladder. Like I also gave it to strategy professors at IIM and the directors of IIM. What they appreciated was that people, the management students will be able to read this book and will be able to apply this before they join the corporates. There are many corporate stories backed with concepts. So there are around 200 plus stories in the book, and there are 100 to 120 concepts which have been explained through these stories and directly. And there are few things which I have learned through my 25 years of career. So I've tried to blend that in. And like there is another person, his name is Dhimant Bakshi. So he is the CEO of Ad Labs. I requested him to write a review. So he liked the storytelling. He said there are so many small stories, and when I read those stories, they start making sense. And through stories, I get to know, okay, this is how the things are, and this is how decisions should be made by leaders. And he said, this has actually helped me. So different people had different take and different perspectives on the book. So whosoever reads it, it is like beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder.
Yes. So, like, it is really good to know that it is for every age group or for diverse category of people. The book is suited for everyone, actually.
Yep.
And so, like, apart from that, you have also authored a book on like nothing about business. So, like, the title itself is very amazing, and it is the Amazon bestseller also. So, what are some of the main features of this book, and how did it become the bestseller?
Look, that book. So in 2016, what I started doing was I started writing stories on LinkedIn. So these are like Twitter stories. So what I do is I write a story, but in 240 characters. So this story has a message. It is a conversation, generally a conversation between two people, and these anecdotes pass on a message in few words. So I started writing these stories, and these stories made me LinkedIn Power Profile for almost 2 years, 2016 and 2018. And then people who were appreciating these stories, they told me that why don't you publish a book? Then one guy threatened me that if you don't publish a book, then I will publish a book. So I said, okay, fine, I will publish a book. So I compiled all these stories into one book. Uh, and then whatever research I had done on those topics, so I gave those references also, so that when you read a story, then you know that there is a concept behind this particular story which comes into play, and from where this concept has been taken. Uh, since people were also already liking the story, so when the book came, many people wanted to one is read the book, and second is there were a lot of people which who just wanted to have that book with them, so that they have a compiled version of those stories, which were like one of like few of the best stories I had on LinkedIn, to write something about that book. So what he wrote was that this is one kind of a book that every day I open one page and I read that story, and this is like a thought of the day for me. That this is a message which I can carry. In fact, the people who have read both the books, so people say they are very different. One is one is a quick read, like you can sit in 1.5 hour you will be able to finish. The other one takes around 3.5 hours. One of my friends bought the book, and he said, I thought I will read it like your first book, nothing about business. But he said 2 days I have read only 70 pages. And so I said, you would have finished it, because I finished my book in 3 hours. He said, no, you can finish it, but there is a lot to think about and reflect on. So I need that reflection time. So I'm reading it slowly, because there is a lot to grasp from this book. So that is the fundamental difference between both the books. And I hope this will also become a bestseller.
Yes, sir, sure. Let's hope for the best. You are also, we have seen that you are also a great influencer and a TEDx speaker also. So what are your favorite topics on that side? Like, what do you really like to speak about?
Then people call me influencer. I don't know whether I'm an influencer or not. I just write stories. Whatever I learn from life, I put that in front of people. And thing is that people are liking it, and they are using it to their benefit. So I'm happy and I'm grateful that people are doing that. And if something is helping people, uh, so it's all good. I generally speak on few topics. One is related to talent. Another is related to technology. So anything on technology, I have been working on technology for quite some time. So on HR technology, I have filed 4 patents also. So anything related to entrepreneurship or decision making. So these are the 3-4 topics which I keep talking about. And apart from that, another favorite topic for me is say social problems. For that I don't speak. For that I write poetry.
Great, sir. And sir, also coming to the other aspect that you have won many popular awards in the HR field, and you have also read many columns and popular HR magazines also. So, what tips you would like to give for the upcoming HR leaders? Like I myself is pursuing HR in MDI Gurgaon, so I would also like to know that what advice you would like to give to all of us today.
So point is, one is keep learning, and second is keep sharing whatever you learn. Share it with others. So when you share the knowledge with others, knowledge actually expands and you learn more. So it is not that I write stories and I am doing a big favor to the society. I write stories, people respond on those stories, people write comments on those stories. I read those comments, and many a times I get different perspectives of the same thing. And I am a better man because of that, because people are reacting to it, people are writing something about it, people see the same thing from different eyes, and help me grow as an individual. So it is a two-way process. So one is keep learning, and second is keep sharing.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much for the great advice. And so, like, these were the only questions. And thank you so much for your time today. And like, I really got to learn a lot, and same others will also learn a lot from you. And we hope that your book actually becomes the bestseller in Amazon again. And thank you so much, sir. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you so much.